Welcome to episode 184 of Stageworthy. I'm your host, Phil Rickaby. Stageworthy is a podcast about people in Canadian theatre featuring conversations with actors, directors, playwrights, and more. I'm going to take one more opportunity to tell you about Got Your Back Canada, which is happening next week. Got Your Back Canada is a conference for acting educators taking place on May 27th and 28th. So whether you work as part of an institution or as a private coach or someone who's just interested in pursuing acting education, this conference is your opportunity to meet other passionate and dedicated teachers and learn some new techniques and practices to bring to the classroom. This conference will explore exciting new ideas and tools around anti-oppression, harassment, and mental health. For more information, visit gybactingeducators.com or search Got Your Back Canada. Let's talk about Today Ticks. Today Ticks is an app and website that offers easy and affordable access to a wide variety of must-see cultural performances from plays and musicals to dance, opera, comedy, immersive experiences, and beyond. So let's take a look at the Today Ticks app today and see what they have this week. Oh, just added is Prophecy Fog at the Theatre Centre, which runs until May 26th. Oh, there are rush tickets for I Swallowed a Moon Made of Iron, and great prices on tickets to Buddies and Bad Times Lilies, and 83% off tickets for Othello at the COC. Today Ticks makes ticket buying simple, and you can purchase tickets in less than 30 seconds. Get it on iOS and Android, or go to todayticks.com. You know, according to the Canadian Podcast Listener Survey, the most common way that people find out about new podcasts is from their friends and family. So if you know someone who might enjoy Stageworthy, please tell them about it. And if you tell someone, let me know about it. You can find Stageworthy on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at StageworthyPod, and you can find the website at stageworthypodcast.com. And if you want to drop me a line, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Phil Rickaby, and my website is philrickaby.com. My guests this week are Natalia Bushnik and Robin Luckwaldt of KAIROS Theatre, who present their award-winning show, The Bathtub Girls, from May 21st to June 1st at the Assembly Theatre in Toronto. You guys took the Bathtub Girls to a horror festival in the States? How did that happen?
So we met Katie and Nick. Katie Hartman, Nick...
Ryan.
Oh my god, I forgot. Sorry, Nick. We met them at Winnipeg Fringe.
Yes.
They had seen our show.
Mm-hmm. The Cold Hearts is their theatre company.
Nice.
Yes. They are a minimalist, gothic musical theatre company.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They are very cool.
They're very cool.
Yeah, their shows are so strange
They're
and
coming
funny.
to the London Fringe, actually.
Yes.
They're doing
Nice.
The Unrepentant Necrophile.
Yes.
Wow, okay.
It's
which
like
is a rock musical.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or a
yeah.
punk musical.
Punk
Okay.
rock musical.
Wow.
Yes. So we had kind of met them around the Fringe tent, and then they came and saw our show and approached us afterwards saying that we'd be a good fit for the festival that they help run
Yeah.
in Minneapolis.
Nice.
They're American.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So they ended up, we teamed up. They were our producers, and we went to the great US.
Yes.
And it was so cool.
Yeah.
It was like my dream of a festival.
It was really, really cool. I didn't sleep for 2 weeks because I'm so bad with horror content,
Oh,
but it
no,
was
really?
fine.
Oh, my God.
I was so happy. And I was so upset. It was like everything that I would hope for as like a horror fan.
Yeah.
It even some of the proposals and ideas were just so fascinating.
Yeah.
Like there was a scary play. There was a play performed on bikes. Like they were bikes on a platform, so that they would have actors like it's like they're biking alone in a forest, and they would use light and puppetry to kind of like bring actors in and out, and it was just like so innovative. And
Yeah.
There was like maybe not 15 minutes, it felt like 15 minutes, it was so scary. But
Yeah.
there was a pretty long scene of a chase scene.
Oh my god.
Where like that they were able to like play with like tension and distance.
Yeah.
Nice.
So like
Nice.
deliciously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw last year at Fundy Fringe, Andrew, I don't remember his name. He did this solo show called Something Awful or Something Wrong. And it's just him standing there talking. There's no real light change.
there's no anything, but he, like, the stories that he was telling, there's at one point where the entire audience did this. And just, like, stayed there for a while. It was amazing. And it was like, wow, you don't actually need a lot to scare the shit out of people.
Yeah, generally with horror, less is more.
Yeah.
That's why, like, I mean,
for real.
hate is gonna hate, but I freaking loved Hereditary. I thought that was, I mean, the ending was rough, but I thought that the whole progression of it was incredible because it was literally just physical theater.
Yeah.
And also Toni Collette being amazing as she is. But just like the twitch of a hand can be enough to be terrifying if it's shot in the right way. So I think it's great. It doesn't need CGI.
Robin, you're not good with horror?
I'm not good with horror. No, I know. It's so funny. When Katie and Nick came up to us in Winnipeg being like, hey, you should come and do this horror theater festival. I was like, I felt so confused because because I don't know, we didn't like make the play to be scary
on purpose.
We didn't like make it to be scary on purpose.
No.
It's just that like the way, like it's just like kind of horrific events. So so it ends up being very heavy and intense. Yeah. But or like it's just like intense content. Yeah. So we observed during the horror festival that I like being scary, but I do not like being scared.
Okay, well that is completely fair. I'm with you on that. I do not do well at horror movies and things like that. But I love being able to scare other people. Yeah. I love writing something that makes somebody go, ooh, I shit my pants, or like whatever they do. You know, it's like but I'm not good with the horror myself.
Yeah. But Nat was also saying that she likes being scared but doesn't like being scary.
I don't like scaring people. Okay. I don't like pranking people. I don't like scaring them, jumping out. Robin will do that. I don't know what it is. I like being the receiver. I like being the one receiving the horror. I find it comforting to watch scary movies, maybe because I grew up on them. Like my mom and I would always watch them together. For whatever reason, she's a great mom. She's perfect. She's the best. She's actually perfect. But it was just a comforting thing that we shared. Yeah. And so then I'm just like accustomed to it. But scaring other people scares myself too much. Makes sense. That's fair. Yeah. And I mean, Bathtub Girls, like, it was funny because there was an article in Minneapolis that listed us as one of the top scares. Ooh, really? Which was hilarious.
I know.
Like, it's not scary. But I think...
Yeah, it's not... It's just like... Yeah.
It's just... it's disturbing. It's upsetting and disturbing.
It does... I was going to say it's unsettling. Yeah. Because it gets you at a certain spot. Right?
Yeah.
And it's that more than it being scary.
And there's different types of horror. Yeah. I think that's why I kind of got stuck on Hereditary for a while, because I found it terrifying. It's because it's about the relationships. It's about the, like, you don't really know if she's crazy, if it's, like, abuse. Like, you don't totally know what's going on, but something about it is familiar. Yeah. And I think maybe that's why they thought, I mean, obviously the actual plot of our story is scary, I guess, but I think it's more just the relationship we have together is disturbing.
Also, maybe... like, part of why it comes through as being unsettling and, like, spookifying is because we weren't aiming for that when we made it. Like, we were aiming on, like, finding the core of something. Like, we just, like, we spend a lot of time, like, searching for the, like, essential...
sort of animalistic, bringing inwards, outwards kind of thing.
Yeah, bringing inwards, outwards. And so... And so, whereas I think that when one tries to make an effect, it like often falls. Yeah. Like, for example, like playing an emotion is like almost never effective, whereas like letting like playing an action and letting that affect the situation and letting that affect the character is often most effective.
But it was fun. It was a fun surprise, and it definitely revealed a lot in our show we didn't even recognize.
For sure. That's for sure. And it fit in with the festival. It fit in with the festival.
An interesting thing that we experienced there versus any other audience we performed for before is we a lot of the we have little comments in the show that are kind of like dark humor twists. Could be considered inappropriate or disturbing, but they're teenagers and that's what they do. And it was so fascinating because in the past when we've performed this, we've had discomfort or silence. Just like, that was weird. And from this audience who were looking for that thrilled.
They were ready.
They were laughing. Like, they really were with us and, like, thought it was so funny.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice,
So it was really fun, like, to kind of be in, I mean, yeah,
It was fun.
as an actor, it was really interesting to feed off that kind of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they want to be disturbed.
Yeah.
So,
They were, the jokes landed better than they
ever have.
Yeah.
Had you thought about, previous to this, like, calling the show a horror to like connect with an audience like that, or?
I don't think so.
We hadn't.
Yeah.
We hadn't. I'm really glad that Katie and Nick, like, opened up that, like, those doors for us to, like, look into that aspect of the show.
Yeah.
But we hadn't previously, we just, like, had not considered it to be a scary horror play at all.
And it's funny, like, I honestly, hilariously as obsessed as I am with horror, I had never even thought of, like, horror theater. I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
Like, it had kind of occurred to me, like, of, like, blood and violent stuff, like, but I had never really, like, seriously thought about it. And then when I heard there was this whole festival celebrating it, it kind of changed my perspective and also really excited me.
Genre in general is not tackled very often in theater. From
No,
horror,
yeah.
or science fiction.
That's a good
things
point.
Like that.
True.
It's like,
Yeah.
Considering that there was a time when if you wanted horror, theater was the place to go. Right?
Yeah.
And then movies sort of took over and for
Yeah.
the most part, theater kind of went, well, I guess that's not for us anymore. But there's some really exciting shit that happens when people are trapped in a room with you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like knowledge of that fact, like we are all trapped in this room together, is an important thing.
Yeah.
Film's interesting, I think, because I don't know. When I watch movies, I often like lose track of what's happening around me.
Yeah.
Whereas when I'm in a theater show, I'm like often highly aware of everything that's happening around me because I'm searching for the story in my environment. And so, I feel like that's a really important thing to be aware of.
Yeah.
In making theater at all.
Yeah.
Is
Absolutely.
that, we are all trapped in this room together. And, like, the senses are, like, open are wide open to that fact.
I think there's something that changes when somebody goes from seeing a movie to seeing theater. Something about, because we're very passive when we watch a movie, right? We sit back, we have our popcorn, and there's previews, and it's always going to be the same. But somehow, when there are people on stage, and we can feel that there are people there, and they're breathing, and they're like actually there, our perception entirely changes.
Because you're a part of the experience as an audience member.
Yeah.
You're an active participant.
So last time we spoke, you guys were about to head off to the Winnipeg Fringe. How was that?
It was
great.
babies. It was like a year ago, 2 years ago. Actually, I guess
feels
it's
like
a
we were
while.
so young.
Yeah.
We were kind of babies.
A lot happens in your early 20s. I feel old.
That was 2017, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Holy
there
crow.
was.
Yeah.
That's really wild. Yeah. I feel like I was a different person.
Me too.
Actually, though.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Winnipeg Fringe was awesome. We were staying with a wonderful, wonderful person. Kathy Ann. And everyone at the Winnipeg Fringe was so kind and, like, welcoming of us. And the festival is bopping. Like, the audiences are so there for the festival.
Yeah, that was a whole other experience.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
it's
Really
so
cool.
different than doing a show in Toronto. Like, the entire city of Winnipeg is, like, there for the Fringe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's their thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That we could come in as a totally new company and, like, survive the
Yeah.
Fringe was,
Yeah.
like, very cool.
Yeah.
And also, like, the friends and connections that we made there, like, still have, like, endured.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
There's something about traveling to another city with Fringe that really sort of forges this like this family feeling. Like, there really is a Fringe family. If you do, especially if you do multiple Fringes, by the end, it's like just a literal family where it goes from like, oh, you didn't do so well tonight, I'll buy the drinks. I didn't do so well tonight, you buy the drinks.
Yeah.
Like,
Just artists helping artists.
Absolutely. I was at Calgary, and the year before, a guy from the States had broken his leg. And,
Oh my God.
he was, didn't have insurance.
Of course.
And so all of the shows that were in the Fringe took a collection after their show.
Wow.
To be able to help him pay for his hospitalization, which was like...
That's wonderful.
That's, to me, is like one of the...
The ultimate.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Did you guys... I mean, obviously, going from, like... You guys had done Hamilton, you'd done London Fringe?
We've done Hamilton and Winnipeg.
Okay.
We did the London One Act Festival, but with our 2 individual pieces that we co-produced for each other.
Yes.
So you've done the Hamilton Fringe and the Winnipeg Fringe. But you've gone to the Toronto Fringe. Was there like a shock to heading to Winnipeg and it being as massive as it is?
Not really for me personally, only because so many people had told me about it ahead of time.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
So I felt, it was huge. I feel so long ago now too. It's like hard to even think about. But yeah, I mean, I think we went in with a plan and we held our own pretty well.
Yeah.
Like, everyone was super, super friendly and accommodating.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't know anyone going in there, we had such amazing support from other people that we were able to get an audience and build our little hype around it.
Did you manage to, was it hard to get that hype going from the beginning, or did you manage to get people out?
People were really receptive, actually.
Nice.
Yeah. I think
we had
because
pretty solid audiences throughout.
Yeah. Probably because there's not a whole lot of drama in
No, that's for sure.
Fringe, I guess. At least that year, maybe there's a lot of comedy, but I don't know.
We also had a really good location. Like,
That's
our
true.
theater was in a really good location.
What was your venue?
The Roblin Center, I think it was called.
Nice.
It's like only a block or 2 maybe off of the main square.
Yeah.
So we were really lucky in that sense. And
that being said, I know this is like changing topic a little bit, but like Rob and I have gotten blessed with some really cool performance spaces, and it's so interesting how we've been able to alter the show based on where we are. Like at Hamilton Fringe, right off the bat, working in Theatre Aquarius was so lovely as our first performance space. That was so lucky.
Beautiful dance floor.
Oh my God. It was awesome. And then we go to Winnipeg and we get this like incredible like raked stage. We could do it in a 3/4 round. We had the most incredible team working in that theater.
Oh my gosh, the technicians.
So good.
Yeah. The technicians in our space were amazing.
Unreal.
Like, the technicians for Winnipeg Fringe are
incredible.
aces.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And then we go to the horror festival, and the space that we worked in was this old Gothic theater. It was ginormous, and I swear we will never work in a better theater than what we did those few performances, because like I remember just wanting to cry. Like, I was just so overwhelmed.
I do think that I may have shed some tears during our
I think
tech
you did.
rehearsal.
Yeah.
It was
out of this world.
Out of this world.
Yeah. And to perform, it's so interesting because this is a process that we're kind of working with right now, because the Assembly is an intimate theater.
Yeah.
And at the Horror Fest, it was like ginormous sort of like just that classic big venue. And so to fill an intimate show, like to fill the space with our bodies, with our sound, was such an interesting process, and it worked. Like we were surprised that it actually fit the space on a bigger kind of grander level. So then now it's sort of like just I guess just re-examining the whole production of it and just seeing how we can fit it best to the Assembly is going to be really interesting.
And it's really exciting also to think about like taking like sort of like those like cathedral like scale, that cathedral like scale, and like trapping people in like a small room with it, and or like and not that the show has like changed, the show has not changed scale, I suppose, but like being able to bring the essence of like what we learned in that cathedral like space into the Assembly. And something that we've always talked about with the show is that it's sort of like be like part of the like when I don't even know exactly how to phrase it, like a feeling that we get like a feeling that is inside the show for us is being trapped in a womb, like in like being trapped but in a safe familiar place, and like that place becoming toxic. That's like what happens to our characters in the play. And so that's why we've always been really excited about performing it in intimate venues. Because it's like a confined, warm place where we can all sort of like cuddle in together.
Right.
So it's really, so it's really exciting to think about like combining that with like the like floating in space that happened at the Twin Cities Horror Festival. Because it really was like they were like sort of like suspended in space. Because this theater was so huge. And
I just want to thank Derek Chua very quickly, because he was the one that suggested that we apply to the Assembly Theatre, because he had seen our show at Hamilton Fringe. We did not know this.
So nice.
But I was like, oh, that's cool, because he sees everything.
Yes, he does.
And he suggested it, and I was like, that's a good thought. So thank you.
One of the things I was just thinking as you described, like playing all these different venues, is that's one thing that taking a show to different Fringe festivals teaches you, is like how to adjust to a different space. And usually people don't go from like medium size, small venue, massive
Enormous,
venue, and then back to a small venue. But you guys have had that experience, which is awesome.
I was going to say something also exciting about going to the Assembly Theatre is that we don't have to pick up the show after we finish it every day and pack it away.
Oh my God.
Huge.
We get to, the space is like our friend for the 2 weeks that we have it, which is so exciting. And
also we just both happen to live really close to it, which is nice.
Even better.
Can like walk home.
Our show has a home for 2 weeks.
That's
which is so exciting. And our
it gives us so much. Oh, sorry, I was about to say the exact same thing.
That's so funny.
That it just gives us more flexibility.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And our sound and set designer, Phoebe Wang, is an installation artist and a radio artist. That's like her, like where she comes from. And so it's really exciting to give her, like to sort of like witness the way that she is taking like free reign with like being able to have a home for like a living installation for 2 weeks. And the way that she thinks about like sound in the space and the way that she thinks about locating the sound and like
we're so lucky to have her.
We're so lucky to have her. Hire her, everybody. Like she's like the best in the business.
We got lucky because
we got really lucky.
Robin's got a little crush.
Okay.
But we're gonna use that luck because she's freaking insane, and it's so cool to finally like. Robin and I have been inside of this project together as a twosome for a very long time. So having a third person that we trust implicitly, like even the ideas she was showing us before we came here are out of this world and so go beyond what I would imagine in sound design. So
and since the show is movement based, it's so important that the sound is like a really like close, like that the sound and performance are like really closely collaborated on. And so it's really exciting to be able to work with someone we trust so much and respect so much.
Absolutely. Last time you were on, we talked about a little bit more detail about what the show is about and its origins. But I'm curious, how has the show evolved from Hamilton to Winnipeg to Minneapolis to now?
Totally.
It's a great question.
That's a great question. Well, we're much more mature as artists, for sure. So the way that we handle the play now is like so much different than like the show that we did in Hamilton is like feels like a world away from the show that we have now. Like there's the core is still there. But like they're all like all the history informs where it is now. But
we were I don't know, I was talking about this earlier, but it really does feel like Robin and I have been growing up together with the play because as much as we can joke around about like, oh, how much can happen in a year, it's true. We have evolved so much. We've been through a lot individually and together. And so that informs the working relationship that we have. Therefore, it informs our joint creativity and the way that we go about different processes and
our technique.
Exactly. We took about, I think it was like almost a year after Winnipeg Fringe that we kind of took like a sabbatical, if you will, from it because we were both doing different projects. And then returning to each other after that, having both had like totally different experiences. It was so interesting going back in with all this new information and tools and worldly experience. Yes, totally. As a 25-year-old. Very wise.
What did change in the process after going off and doing those two projects? When you came back together, what had changed? Aside from the fact that, you were older, wiser.
Yeah. I think... Let me think about this for a second.
Yeah.
Is it weird just to say that I missed you?
That is not weird at all. That is not weird at all.
I don't know. I was like, maybe I took her for granted. It was interesting. Robin and I are both, I would call us both intense. We care a lot about what we're making, and we will spend the time we think is necessary to work on it, which may tire some people out. But the thing I find the funniest about, if I'm feeling like, oh, maybe that was kind of crazy, maybe that was like a little bit too aggressive of me, and then if I call up Robin, I'm like, oh yeah, is that too much? And Robin's like, no, that's what I would have done. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, we're both like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
I think learning to have balance, learning to not be totally consumed by what you're making, because when you do care and you are passionate towards something, I don't know, at least for me, it's really easy to get like 24-hour brain only thinking of this one project. Yeah. And so I think something we've gotten much, much better at over time is just dividing it up. Like rehearsal is from this time to this time, lunch break for an hour, we go here, and then we just let it go as best as you can when you go home at night, and then return to it the next morning.
Yeah. Nice. And our brains are fresher the next day.
And more productive. Yeah, fun.
Yeah. And I think also, like, I've learned a lot about being able to let go of things, like, over the years. Not just letting go of, like, old ideas that aren't working, but also I think that we used to be, like before, when we first started the project, I think that we were kind of confused and caught between, like, what is and is not documentary in this.
Yes.
And I think that we've realized that it's documentary theater. Yeah. It is not, it will not be, it cannot be, and we don't want it to be.
And that's not what we wanted to make anyway.
And it wouldn't be, we didn't want to make that anyway. And it wouldn't be right of us to be like, this is documentary, because
it's not.
It's just not.
Far from it.
How could it be?
And I think a lot of that came from the fact that we just didn't trust our own artistry.
Yeah.
And so, like, we were inspired by the story and inspired by the themes and content and the characters that we created that are fictional. And then, but then we just, like, kind of hid behind, I don't know, we hid behind certain conventions. Whereas now I think we both trust ourselves as people and each other and as a team to continue making what we think it is. And I think even, like, the horror festival helped that, I feel like.
Oh, for sure.
Every experience has added to it.
Yeah. The longer that we have time to, like, marinate with the project, the more it becomes that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more we can trust it, because the ideas are more tried. Or,
totally.
like, if they don't hold, then we don't need them.
Yeah.
And I think that also I think that I've at least come closer to understanding what I care about saying with the play. And so, like...
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. And something that we talk about a lot is, like, who is heard in this story, and when we first were sort of sparked by the reading news about the story it was originally inspired by, we the thing that the seed that really stood out to us was the way that the characters were villainized in the media, and also that it was a super one-sided perspective of their story. And from the very beginning, we were we're not interested in perpetuating the criminalization of people in tragedy and in crisis. And so it's become much more about advocating for young people in extreme crisis than it is about us. Than it is about documenting a news story, especially a news story we're not the way that this story had been documented was just so trivializing of the people who were involved and dehumanizing of them, and the humans that we have made, just we couldn't ever begin to say that they are the people that it happened to, because they're humans that we've made from our own experiences and our imaginations. And we're working on getting in touch with the original humans, which is hard because their identities are protected. But like, because the seed of their story is in like the thing that we have imagined, it feels like it's important that they have some agency. Yeah. And at least by knowledge of like, we made up a thing, like, we made up a thing that like you like helped us make up with like by existing. Mm-hmm. Like, but the thing that we've made up is separate from them. Yeah. The thing that we've made up is about youth advocacy and is about like supporting people in your community when they call for help. Yeah. And like, and like not trivializing youth. Yeah. That's a really big part of it for me. Yeah. That like, I also work with kids a lot and I work with young people a lot. And, I notice it's like the difference in like how a child responds to being respectfully spoken to or respectfully treated, and like how a child responds to being controlled or like disregarded is like immediate and stark. And like children are people. Yes, they're not little animals like that are like to be led around. Like, yeah, they need guidance, but they're people who deserve respect. And so I think that's part of why that like hits really hard for me is in our story is that like, it's like respect youth and hear and see them for who they are and how they are and where they are.
I think that falls in line like what you had just said before about knowing more and more about what you stand for. I think that's also just a part of growing up.
Sure. That's true.
I remember Lupita Nyong'o said this incredible quote, which was that it was about in regards to theater school, I think specifically, but she was saying you can't be other people until you know yourself. Yeah. And I know for me that's been a huge thing. Being able to, you can be as intuitive as you are, but until you are introspective and fully accept yourself for who you are, then you can kind of, take on other stories and experiences. Yeah. And then it's not like, therapy or something. It's just storytelling. Yeah.
What's interesting is you were mentioning earlier about how when you first did this, you didn't have the confidence to say we made this, and you were sort of hiding behind the documentary, which almost sounds like you were falling into what you were saying, Robin, about the agency of young people, because you guys were quite young when you did this. Yeah. It's almost like you didn't... The irony. Like you felt like you didn't have the agency to say, we made this, and you had to hide behind something. Yeah. But now, as you've done it so many times and started to own it, you now have the agency to say that you made it, that you created this thing.
Yeah. That's interesting. And that it's its own thing. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Huh.
Do you guys, when you guys come back to working on this, do you re-examine the show? Do you rebuild it?
Yeah. Yeah. We start from the top and we scratch through it.
Oh my God. We had our first rehearsal like 2 days ago, I think. And
after like months of production meetings.
Yeah. Oh, that's the part we all love, isn't it? Yep. Yeah. Anyway, we can finally actually rehearse our show now. Yeah. And even just today, we were reworking a scene because Phoebe, who was an incredible sound designer, overheard us doing this specific part. Had seen the archival footage and was like, that ain't working. You got to get rid of it. And we were like, we were young.
And also like we knew at the time we just didn't have any other tools.
Yeah, we didn't. I was kind of like, how do we fucking fix this? I don't know. Just like, maybe no one will notice. I don't know. Yeah. So we were rewriting that today, and it was one scene, and I think we got through it. But it's so funny. Like, it's like right near the beginning of the show, and it's always a process of just re-examining. The more like mature we get, the more tools we have, the more resources we have, the more we can spruce up our show and rewrite it, and time is a good thing on our side this time around as well.
Yeah, that's true.
I think you also learn from an audience. Like performing a show, the more you perform a show for an audience, the more you know about the show. Totally. Sure. You think going into it that like, I wrote this, I know this. Yeah. You don't until an audience tells you.
Yeah. 100%.
And so I know every time I've done The Commandment, it's been a re-examination of the show. And sometimes it's changed a bit. This time it's changing more. But like it changes because every time I come at it, I'm a different person.
Yeah.
Just like you guys are different people than when you first wrote it. And so you come at it as the people that you are now rather than the people that you are then.
Yeah. And having really cool and important discussions after the show too, with just audience members who come up and say, hey, I identify with this for this reason. That's always super helpful because we're writing it from our two perspectives. You know, we can only...
Where else could we write from?
Yeah, exactly. And so it's... But also, both of our brains are kind of fried today.
Sure. Well, I appreciate you guys coming and having this conversation. Your brains are fried. It really
no, it's good.
No, it's good. Yeah.
It's really nice. Thank you for having us.
So now, like you went through the process of applying to Assembly. How has that, having been selected to be part of the Assembly season, how has that process been for you?
Really, like I was saying before, it's like so exciting to like know that we're going towards putting our show in a home. It has its own little home. It's so exciting.
Luis Fernandez, he was already a friend before this experience, and he's taken on like a lot of work with that theater.
Nice.
And and I'm sure he is absolutely exhausted. And so I'm gonna do this little shout out to Luis, being like, you are so great, and you will get through it. No, it's like, it's so exciting. And just having the agency over our whole space, like including the lobby. Like we got a lot of stuff that we can cook up. So it's fun.
And there's lots of people with really good hearts who are like Lewis has such a good warm heart, and it's just like really nice to feel that from
Alice Lundy came on to help us with publicity and media outreach,
and she's just a goddess.
Oh my god, she's so good. I feel so safe.
And all the people that we're looking at for, like, Phoebe, for example, but also other people we're looking at for, like, the production team.
Oh, gosh. To actually have a team this time is such a gift. Like, it's not just us trying to be like, can you turn that light blue? Like, actual designers. And that makes, like, a world of difference.
And the technician at the Assembly Theatre, Chin.
Amazing.
He's just, like, he knows his stuff so well.
Nice.
And
so we can just focus on the performance aspect. Once we're done the rewrites, we can actually, and direction and everything, we can just go into the space and do it and trust a really amazing team. And that's the biggest relief of all, because it's tiring to make theater.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is. You guys mentioned that you like took a year away from this show after Minneapolis and
after
Winnipeg. Yeah.
So what kind of stuff were you guys doing? What did you do during the intervening year?
The sabbatical. Do you want to go?
Yeah, we finished Winnipeg and we were like, hey. And Nat was like, hey, I think I want to do more film. And I was like, I think I want to be in other people's plays.
I just want to stop this for a while. Not
because we didn't like it, but it's just
it's so time consuming. And you don't get to do anything else.
You don't get to do anything else. And it's important to, I think, expand and focus your practice in different areas.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it was, that's what we did basically. I just took some time to be in other people's work. Just like be an actor in other people's stuff.
Yeah, you wrote a bunch of stuff. Weren't you in a production produced by Why Not?
Oh, well, the Riser Project.
The Riser Project.
Part of the Riser Project.
You were in some buddies.
Oh, yeah. So, and then Nat, also, has been doing so much work in voiceover and film.
Hello. As you can tell from this interview.
Yeah,
just animation work. Nice. So, I have to do a plug for Winston. If you haven't watched CBC Comedies, People Watching, Winston Roundtree's People Watching, you should do it. It won the Canadian Screen Award for Best Web Series Fiction in 2017.
It's dope.
Yeah, it's very political and
very well written.
And he's incredible. Nice. So check her out.
It's awesome.
Robin, did you do an all-female Henry V?
Yes, I did.
Was that with...
The Edge Productions.
Yeah. Miriam was just in here a little while ago.
Way!
Her episode comes up tomorrow for the
Pregnancy
Pact. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I getting the time to I don't know. I love Shakespeare so much. I'm like so typical. I just like really love Shakespeare.
Yeah, freaking nerd.
I know. It's like one of my favorite things to do is play Shakespeare. And getting the chance to like those words were not written to be in like an AFAB body. Yeah. Like, and so it's really nice to get a chance to, like, there's such, like, just the text is so good and delicious, and like, why can't I speak it, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
And why can't like non-binary and like identified as female at birth folks say it?
Yeah.
And so it was really, really like, that was like, I was in Windsor for that month, and the folks at the University of Windsor, just like, because we're graduates of UWindsor, like, were so generous and let me rehearse in that space like all day long, and we'd have rehearsals in the evenings, and I would just like go to the Jackman Dramatic Arts Center and like use the studios and work in the studios like every day, because it's so much text. Like Henry V, like King Henry speaks so much in that play, and so I was like my whole life was that play for a long time. To be able to like get inside the text and let the text be inside me. And so it was a really, really beautiful time to spend on my practice, was like being, just like, it was like working with like some of my favorite kind of text to work with. Yeah. And like in like some of the most beautiful studios I've ever seen. The studios at UWindsor are amazing. And with like a really awesome team, and What
was touring that show like?
It was awesome. It was intense. Because touring is intense, but like I said, like the folks on, like the cast is just like a really, really beautiful team of people, just like beautiful people, beautiful hearts. And so, like even through tough times, like there was so much support, and like, it was like, just like touring with like some of my closest friends, and like becoming very close with the people who are on the team.
That's kind of the ideal touring situation, isn't it?
Yeah, because I think that like touring with people that you don't feel have your back is just like kind of the most exhausting thing in the world.
God.
Yeah.
So I can't even imagine.
Yeah. So it was really, I felt really lucky to be like in a group of people who I felt have my back.
Nice.
Yeah. And and just like, I don't know, that play is like complex, because it's a play about colonization. It's like just is a, like, that character is weird, and the play is weird because like the protagonist is kind of shitty.
I was gonna say, stay out of the dick.
And obviously playing, like, I like also love him and have a lot of love for him because I played him, and so I spent a lot of time getting inside of it, like his heart, and like in his mind and his spirit, and he has like a fierce and loving spirit, and also does bad things, in so many places in that play are his actions
just like wrong call, dude.
So bad like like the way that he like treats the way that he and his army colonize is brutal and merciless. And also he like the like final scene of the play where he's like wooing the princess is like, there are a lot of different interpretations of that scene, of course, but like, and we didn't lean too far into like what I'm about to speak of, but like what I really see in that final scene is like her saying no and him saying, but anyways. And so like, there's like a lot of, so he's like really like, and I was interested in like not skating over those things. And so is Miriam, which is good.
That is good.
Because I think that we've spent hundreds of years looking at him as the ultimate hero.
Yes.
And, and so, and, that being said, like, as an actor, like, you can't, like, play the bad guy. You just have to find the truth and the justice in the character's motivation, and then the play will let the play do its work.
Yeah.
Let the chemistry of the play do its work. And I don't think Shakespeare wrote someone who's supposed to be just the ultimate hero and the good guy. It's just not what he wrote.
No, because he writes flawed people.
Yes, exactly.
And I think he understood, good people do bad things sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
They make bad choices.
Bad choices.
Hamlet makes a shit ton of bad choices.
He done goofs.
There you go. Goofs. And Nat, what were you've done the voiceover for some animation. What other have you done? Done some film work that you want to
Yeah, I don't know, just sort of all over the place, just doing my thing. What's the funniest thing? Oh my god, okay, this is the funniest thing that always follows me, so I need to reference it. But Robin and Phoebe were recently on an Air Canada flight because they did an incredible workshop in Copenhagen. I am... Okay, I've never been recognized so many times for such a lame thing, but I did this, it was this commercial for Air Canada, and it's like an insurance commercial, and it's like there's a couple different spots of it. It's just a shot of me just listening to a guy talking about insurance, which I literally had to do for like 6 hours, so it was awful. But I have had people from high school message me, and I just had Robin the other day, her and me taking all these photos with me in their in-flight movies.
And also there's all these fleshy pink blurs in the pictures because it's me pointing at the picture of Nat.
My dad has never been more proud. He's always he's like, that's my daughter.
There are 6 shots of Nat in this commercial.
It's so stupid.
6 shots of Nat being
yes,
insurance.
Pretty cool.
It's very exciting. I'm sure everyone around us is really excited about how loud we were yelling about Nat being in this commercial.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. I'm just kind of working my way through and getting more experience, doing a lot of, I've done a lot of reenactment shows, which is really funny, but
what's that music video?
I've done a couple of the reenactment shows. I've reenacted I Had a Strange and Unusual Death.
Yes.
It's you gotta do them.
It's
right?
a Canadian staple, that's
it
for
is
sure.
A Canadian staple. It's how you get your start.
Claim your fame.
Reenactment show.
I know. It kind of made me want to be on a soap opera, to be honest. I was
oh my god, you'd be so good.
I would kill to be on a soap opera. That'd be so much fun.
I look forward to this day.
Yeah, I did a music video for, she's a really wonderful country artist, Jessica Mitchell. She was fantastic. It was directed by Gavin Michael Booth. Not Bluth. He is also Windsor grad. Or at least from Windsor. I don't know if he's a grad. He's from Windsor. But yeah, no, just I think something that I'm really realizing in my own work, voice acting has always, as soon as I started doing it, which wasn't really until I graduated university, I love it so much. I love voice acting because, with animation, a lot of the time you kind of just look at the character, you read off the page. It's just immediate intuition. Wherever it sits is where it's at. And it's essentially just doing a bunch of cold reads, which is so exciting and fun because you can play a million different characters. Even the shows that I have done, I've been able to play multiple characters within those shows. Yeah. Which is the most exciting. Even on People Watching, they needed a quick voice for a really kind of young, bitchy cashier. And so I think her name was Becky, of course. But it was so much fun just masking my voice to make it totally different than Candy, the character I play. So it was a surprise, at the end, oh, that was me! It's just fun. And I think, my ultimate dream would be able to, motion capture work is my obsession because it combines everything I love. It's movement-based work and voice work. And if I can combine those two and do a freaking video game, I would be living on cloud 9. So that's kind of where my ultimate goal is to be able to live that Andy Serkis life. Awesome. That's where I'm hoping to get. But someday. You can't really do motion capture until you're union, so that is my next goal.
Thing, But yeah. So how long until the Bathtub Girls opens? As we record this?
It's the 21st of May. Mm-hmm. So how many days is that? I think that's 24 days from now. Is that accurate?
Is that about that?
Okay. Yeah. May 21st is opening night, and we are having a raging party.
Which is, again, another thing you could do because the space is yours.
Yes, exactly.
And that's also something that Lewis was like, hey, have a party.
Yeah.
I'm purchasing a liquor license. Liquor license for that night. Like, it's going to be a nice time.
Nice.
So highly suggest getting those tickets sooner rather than later, because we are actually getting a number of tickets bought in advance for opening.
Yes.
Yes. Quite a few. So buy in advance. It is limited seating as well.
Well, it's a like when you say it's an intimate venue, it's a very intimate venue.
Yeah, I think it's like max 60 people.
I think 62 seats, maybe.
That's like pushing it though.
That's pushing it. I'm not 100 even. I think that 60 would be comfier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely buy a ticket in advance.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Can I also say something really funny just in case we're wrapping up soon? Because I just want to... So when Robin and I were rewriting a scene today, we were just... Robin and I are not cool at all and never have been, nor were we cool in high school. I was a student council president. Robin is probably in the book club. I don't know. And early...
I was on the improv team.
Oh, God. Even worse. Oh, yes. So we were dorks and...
Always have been.
Our characters are, a bit smoother and we were trying to write a scene where my character's kind of like... I forget the exact quote, just being like, oh, like, why do you even give a shit? Like, it's a dissection scene, so they're talking about a pig, and my character's being all cool, like, oh, like, don't even care, like, it's no big deal, whatever. And Robin was trying to find a actual line for my character, and she was like, yeah, why don't you say something like, yeah, like, whatever, it's just organic matter, like, it's like, what?
The line has now been adjusted to, whatever.
It's a piece of bacon.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the opposite of
the opposite of cool. The opposite of cool.
It's simply a piece of organic matter, you fool. Aw, you're not cool in the least. Anyways, I just wanted to embarrass him because that was the most amazing, honest moment that we had today. I was like,
it is amazing how the people that we were in high school, something about that stays with us. So as much as they change, you're still like, I'm still the nerd,
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But
totally.
being cool is lame and boring.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, at least whatever you classify cool is. Cool can be cool. Wait.
Yeah. Like, cool is... as cool does. Cool. I feel like this is so long.
Confucius. Oh God!
I feel like it's just cool when
misery.
people live their truth really deeply and
Yeah,
strongly
that's
and
what's
like
cool.
with love and kindness.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
I think it seems like an awesome way to end right there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Guys, I've been a huge fan of yours since Hamilton, so thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I look forward to seeing this iteration of the Bathtub Girls.
We're excited to share it.
We're so happy.
This has been a Homebody Productions production.